Hi there. Been a while, hasn't it? Almost 4 fucking years. How do you like that shit? So, let's see. I'm pretty sure the last segment I did of this, which I am going to, I believe, rename. We're gonna go from Randy's Rants to Randy's Ramblings, because I believe, when I was doing this a few years back, somebody had mentioned that I don't really rant. I tend to ramble, and considering my brain is easily diverted, and I do tend to go off on tangents sometimes, so maybe I really do ramble more than rant. But anyhow, I've been thinking about doing this again for quite a while, actually. I want to say I've started to seriously consider it again probably about 6 to 8 months ago. And I don't know, for whatever reason, I put it off, and I think to myself, well, it's not like anybody really watched it before. It's not like I was getting an overwhelming number of views and blah, blah, blah. But, something, at the same time, I actually found this to be enjoyable. I had a lot of fun with the previous things that I did, and yes, for those wondering, that was my phone going off, probably a text message. Well, it was definitely a text message, because that's the only thing I use that tone for. So yes, Mr. Hanky from South Park is my text message tone. And it works. For me, it works. Anyhow, remember what I said about going off on tangents? Anyhow, basically this edition is probably just going to be to update people on where things are with the Metallic Onslaught, because that's where this whole series began, was, stories and such that I couldn't necessarily go into detail on the broadcast when we were still at WEOS, and I'll get to that stuff in a minute for those unfamiliar with what happened. A lot of you probably are, but I would imagine many aren't. Anyhow, this is going to bring everybody up to date. I'm not going to pack 4 years worth of info, but just the purpose of this installment of the ramblings is to kind of explain what happened with WEOS. So let's go back a little over 3 years ago. We were still broadcasting from the old studio, WEOS in Geneva. We knew the studio was shutting down because they were going to remodel the building and convert it into student housing for the college. And they were moving the studio into another building. They were going to be bringing in all new equipment, fiber optics, this, that. We knew we were going to be off the air for at least 2-3 months, maybe a little longer. So at this time, 3 years ago, we were just kind of floating in limbo. And actually, it's been, as of this Tuesday, it will have been 3 years that we got the notice from WEOS and WXXI, who they were in a partnership with, that the Metallic Onslaught was being canceled. And as you can imagine, that came as a shock to us. We were extremely surprised, extremely disappointed, and at the time, pretty fucking pissed off about it. Things happened. We waited a little bit, tried to get a meeting, didn't happen. We waited about a week, and finally we went public. We went with a, the word escapes me. I am literally brain dead right now. But yeah, an online petition. There we go. To garner support. We explained the situation. We ended up getting not the number of signatures we wanted, but we did get quite a bit of support from local listeners and just people who support the show and what we do in general. And, you know, we kind of figured there was going to be no getting through and getting our show back on WEOS. And in the long run, it worked out for the better because over the course of time, we were approached by some people who had suggested internet radio. And that is how the Metallic Onslaught has survived in the meantime. God, it was Rock Hard Radio at the time had picked us up. We have been picked up 2 terrestrial stations, HWS in Geneva, which is the other Hobart station. WEOS was their NPR station. WHWS is the actual college station. We are also being played in Ithaca on WVBR. Much love to those guys. But yeah, at the time, Rock Hard Radio, Rock Radio UK, Red Earth Radio, who was still carrying us. And as it stands right now, we are being carried WHWS, Friday nights, WVBR, Saturday morning, like early AM, like 1 AM to 6. So if you're a late night partying college student who likes metal, you know, by all means, check us out. Extreme Alchemy Radio, one of the more recent ones that has picked us up from 3 to 8 p.m. on Saturdays. You can find all this stuff on Facebook, actually, if you're interested in any of them. But yes, Extreme Alchemy Radio, Red Earth Radio, I believe is playing us on Saturday nights from 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. We are on Good and Plenty Radio, who are based, I believe, in Cocoa Beach, Florida. And I want to say they play us either Monday or Tuesday nights, relatively early, 7 or 8 p.m., somewhere in there. I don't have the info directly in front of me. But like I said, you can go online, you can find these people on these stations on the internet and get all the information you need. But yes, Rock Radio UK has actually broken the 5-hour broadcast into 5 separate. They play us every night, Monday through Friday, in 1-hour installments. And apparently that works well for them. And we have, I believe, somewhere around 700 to 800 listeners nightly. Which, you know, doesn't seem like a lot, but at the same time, when it's a consistent number of people, and it's the same people listening, to my understanding. So, hey, horns up to those guys, I'll tell you, man. But yeah, it's we are pre-recording the show as it stands. It's been going on for, I want to say that started when we finally got the ball rolling again. It would have been October of 2014. And we have been pre-recording the show, which kind of changes the ball game a little bit because it's kind of hard to have bands come out like we used to. If we wanted to do anybody, you know, have anybody play live in studio, it's a little difficult now. If we want to have people come out to sit in for an interview, it's possible. We haven't really delved into that a lot yet. We have had guest visitors from some local bands. Eric Rodriguez, formerly of Ironclad. Gypsy and the Undead Messengers crew have been out. You know, much love to all of them. They are a great, Undead Messengers are one of my favorite local bands. Without a doubt. They are just awesome, cool people. But, yeah. I mean, that is where things stand. We have a location where we pre-record once a week. The show is still going. And like I said, WHWS, WVBR in Ithaca, Extreme Alchemy Radio, Red Earth Radio, Good and Plenty Radio, Rock Radio UK. You can find them all on Facebook. and you can listen to us on any of them on pretty much a number of given nights a week. And life in that regard is good. And I will have more to share soon. There is one story in particular that we brought up on the show a while back that I want to devote a ramblings to. It's a funny little story, and that will probably be the next thing I put up. And from there, I'll probably just do another one to update happenings on the show that are going on currently. Disturbing, itchy things that, yeah, I'm not going to talk about it right now. That's subject matter for another time. And it's Jeffy's fault, so I will say that much. But more on that later. This segment of Randy's Rants, now Randy's Ramblings, is concluding. Horns up. Stay metal. Bye-bye.